Hello, everyone, and welcome to another brand new episode of the Top 10. I am John Rocha.
And I am Matt Knost. We're here to bring you another Top 10 show, this time based on a suggestion from a Boss Hog patron over at patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10. And if you'd like to suggest a topic, head over there and join us on Patreon. And you can do that. We take topics once a month from our lovely patrons.
Yeah.
And how are you?
I'm good. Good. Just really busy today. A lot of stuff going on this week. So, good overall. How about you?
Not bad. Not
Okay.
bad. Saw the clip of Harry Styles that Rolling Stone put out yesterday from the new movie, Olivia Wilde's new movie coming out.
Yeah.
The accent is all over the fucking place. It is so...
That's funny you say that, because people are thinking that he's going to get nominated for this film. A lot of people have been saying that. So interesting. All right. I haven't seen anything on it. So
it's a 30-second snippet, but I saw it on Twitter, and then somebody was like, look, this thing goes from Yorkshire to the Bronx to down south to somewhere back in England. And I was like, oh, really? And then I watched it and I was like, boy, they're not wrong. This thing is fucking all over the place.
Yeah.
Who knows if it was just that one scene because he was so dialed in. It's like a passionate scene with him and Florence Pugh.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe he got lost in the moment type of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not judging before I see the film, but that doesn't bode well. That coupled with the now she's defending him.
There's all kinds of drama around that movie now with everything that's happening and everything going on. I'm looking it up right now, but there's so much going on with that movie because people are responding to it. People are doing articles about the pay disparity between, apparently Harry Styles was reportedly or rumored to be being paid 3 or 4 times what Florence Pugh was getting paid.
Really?
Yeah, but she came out and said that that's bullshit, that she's a woman who has fought for pay disparity all her life, and she thinks these are clickbait articles. And then she was talking about how she got served at CinemaCon, which I was actually in the room for and witnessed live in front of us, her getting served the papers from Jason Sudeikis. And of course, Sudeikis said, oh, I had no idea she was going to be served there. That's the process server and whatever. But to me, now I've changed my mind a little bit, because initially I believed him, but now I think, because she says, there's a reason I left that relationship. So that tells you right there that there's a little bit of bitterness still between them. And she said that in the interview. And then there's rumors that apparently she started her relationship with Harry Styles while they were making the movie, and that she was still married. And that kind of really pissed off Florence Pugh. So there are rumors about that as well. Now, she tried to shoot down all of them in that interview in Variety. But I don't believe anybody anymore. Matt, I'm at this stage now where I don't believe a fucking soul who talks into any publication promoting anything. I don't believe a word they say about their personal lives or about drama or about pay disparity. I don't believe a fucking word. I've seen too many people lie, and behind the scenes, just seen too many people just not tell the truth. Even the puff pieces now, I abhor the puff pieces, because I'm like, these are all lies. These are just fabricated by PR machines to make you like this person. Then you find out later they keep babies in cages in the bottom of their house. You just don't know with the madness that goes on in fucking Hollywood. There's too much hypocritical approaches to the world. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I don't. All the did I cheat on Sudeikis or whatever else?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? We've seen it happen a million times, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, he's not squeaky clean either. He cheated on his first wife, from what I understand, a few times. So, I mean, Ted Lasso is a character. Ted Lasso is not Jason Sudeikis. Let's make that real clear. All right. There's in the world, there's different, those are great characters, not the same person. Jerry Lewis entertained for decades, massive dick behind the scenes. So you just never know. So it's that kind of stuff that I go back to and whatever. So yeah, so there's a lot involved in that movie. So I hope the movie comes out. I hope it's good. It certainly seems from the trailer that it's good, but there's a lot of drama already around this thing, which is such a shame.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Usually release date is an indicator, but considering that this wasn't supposed to be a tentpole movie, I'm not holding against 3,000 years of longing. I'm not holding out great expectations for it, because if it was really good, this is George Miller, it would have been put as a tentpole a month ago. to 6 weeks ago. So it's just like, oh, I am wary of this, even though visually it looks pretty fucking stunning. Whereas something like this is a smaller film, so the release date doesn't mean as much to me.
No. Right. But they want this to be considered for Oscars. They're definitely trying to get Oscars off this movie for sure. That's the buzz all the way back from CinemaCon. So yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Did you see
the Andor clip? Did you see the Andor clip?
No, not watch. Okay. I'm gonna tune in to the show.
Okay.
They still have me. The Marvels, like I haven't watched She-Hulk yet.
Okay.
I that one might suck me in.
Yeah.
I might end up watching that. It looks interesting.
Okay.
From afar, but I don't know.
She's a good actress.
She is.
Yeah.
But Star Wars is getting to the point where it's like, I don't know if I trust you guys for this anymore, even though I say that, and then they announce the next project and it sounds really interesting and I'm intrigued. And then they put out a teaser trailer like they did with Obi-Wan, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then you see the show and you're like, it's all right, I guess. It had its moments.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what I want, so that I'm part of the problem, I guess. But yeah, I have not seen it. It's coming out soon enough.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, everybody's stacking their major releases right now between Game of Thrones, and then we have Lord of the Rings, and then right after that we've got Star Wars. So, okay. I don't know why you guys decided to all do this in a 3-week span, but okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'd be curious as to whether or not Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings undercut each other, considering it's the same realm.
Yeah, I like the first episode that aired this past weekend for House of the Dragon. I'm supposed to, fingers crossed, be getting Rings of Power here in the next day or so I can watch those this weekend. But I'm excited because both of these trailers and both of the multiple trailers, rather, both the franchises with their multiple trailers have gotten me excited to see both of the projects. So I want to see more. But Game of Thrones is, dude, I forgot how exhaustive that fucking show is. Like dropping hints from characters from 200 years ago or 300 years ago or whatever, and prophecies and all these allusions to things.
He called it the Song of Fire and Ice. He said the thing. He said the thing.
DiCaprio meme.
Yeah, precisely.
All of that nonsense. It's crazy, man. So
yeah, that first episode. Look, I am extending them goodwill.
Sure. You want to see if maybe they learn their lessons here.
Watching it when what's his name, the evil uncle, I can't remember the actor's name.
Doctor Who. Matt Smith.
There you go. I knew it was Matt something or other. But he comes out in that helmet, and I was like, okay. Okay. Did you guys get this off the rejected pile from Willow?
It's a Thor helmet. It's a Thor helmet. That's what it is.
It's subtle is what it is. And then I saw people online like, oh my God, I love this helmet. And you're like, okay, I don't know about any of that. But setting up, this could be very interesting.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. But if they have 5 good seasons and then shit the bed again, I'm really going to be kicking myself.
I know, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
People are already saying that, like, I'm not getting in because of those reasons. And you're like,
yeah, but you can't live life like that. I mean, for God's sakes, you got to take chances. They had one bad season. Is one bad season going to, stop you from giving them? I mean, they had 7 good seasons. People focus too much on the negative. Like, oh, you fucked up once. Fuck it. I don't trust you. What about the 35 other times I got it right? No. I don't trust you because you fucked up once. I can't believe in you again. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Yeah, but in that one, it's the same with Lost. It's like, I was with you, although I think Game of Thrones was a better product overall. But the endings soured my taste of it that I don't ever want to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I still go back and watch occasional episodes, but you're not wrong. There's always that twinge in the back of my mind of, but this is not going to end.
It's unfulfilling
100% in a satisfying way. So yeah, I didn't mind the ending, but I understand that it didn't hit the mark as much as it should have. So I totally get it. But for me, it's still fun to go see The Constant or these other episodes that I really love. It's nice to kind of turn the, kind of feeling about how negative that ending was to, and enjoy the show and enjoy the writing and the acting.
Mm.
And it's a shame. You're right. I mean, I would love to see another Lost approach that would be better to kind of smooth things over.
Yeah.
Because I think both of these franchises are smoothing things over. Like a lot of people didn't really like the Hobbit movies, and they're the source of scorn, and people make fun of them, even though I like them. So this Rings of Power is a way to kind of bring everything back. We've got another Fellowship. We've got Galadriel is back. We've got Harfoots, which are essentially hobbits. We've got Sauron. So it's a way to kind of get people back into the Lord of the Rings vibe from the Lord of the Rings movies. And then Game of Thrones has very much from the first episode that vibe from the early Game of Thrones seasons. So we're going to see that, and the same thing. We've got a silver-haired Targaryen who wants the Iron Throne, a female silver-haired Targaryen. So it's certainly things that I think they're taking the page out of Force Awakens and like, let's make it as similar as possible to something we know, but still kind of make it its own thing. And both of these franchises.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the drawing parallels to what we've already seen, because you need to slowly bring people into a world that they know and simultaneously don't know at all.
And it's not like we don't repeat patterns in our own lives.
Yeah.
Or in our own society, in our own history. So, yeah.
Yeah, it makes a tremendous amount of sense. I just wasn't blown away. And I saw some people whose opinion was wildly in favor. And I'm not against, but I was just like, okay, I wasn't bowled over. Right. But the world building is as good as before. And I'll be intrigued to, where you take this long term.
Yeah.
It's just they keep stacking, all these releases. But so long as they're good, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, sure. So long as they're good. That's really the important thing. You're right about that. We should say hi to Cam Chapman and Alex Russell, who are joining us live. 6 people are joining us live right now. So great to see them in here. Paul Cree is in here as well. So these are the perks you get when you're a $10 and above patron. You get to come in and hang out with us live as we record the show every second Thursday and fourth Thursday of the month. And these are live shows. So more of you should be showing up here to hang out with us live as we do these shows, because we have a lot of fun doing them. And you get to have us unfiltered and unedited, getting into the things that we're getting into. What's up, James Petty? Good to see you in here as well. Anything more we should talk about, Matt, before we go forward? Kevin Durant staying with the Nets, what you anticipated was going to happen. It was a big, it was a collective. Yeah, I kind of saw that coming from a lot of the basketball analysts and pundits. It was surprising.
Once you saw that there was no leverage, nobody was going to fork over what the Nets wanted.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Or wherever he's going to get traded to, if he agreed to it, they're going to have to gut that team. So what's the point?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're staying. They're unsurprising, to say the very least.
Yeah, they made a big deal out of it, but I feel the big deal was all just brand saving or face saving for Kevin. Like, it was like meet Kevin.
Kobe when he wanted to get traded.
Yeah.
And wanted to go to the Bulls.
Right.
And that's when I became a full-on hypocrite. Because I was never a Kobe fan. And then was like, he wants to go to the Bulls. And I was like, dude, this Kobe guy, fucking legit. I never denied his talent, but I just didn't think he was a good teammate.
Right. We're terrible. We're terrible sports fans are terrible people.
Yeah.
We're just terrible people.
I wasn't like excited about it, but had it happened, I would have fully supported, been on board and rooted for him and been happy about it.
I hated the way I felt watching Alex Rodriguez and Pinstripes win a World Series for my Yankees. It was disgusting and ugly, and I hated him for the steroid stuff. Yet I celebrated that World Series. Would I give it back today if I could? Sure. We'd still have 26 other ones, so it's not a big deal. But I still hated.
Are you going to watch his documentary, The Admiral?
Oh. It better not be called The Admiral. The Water Boys.
A-Rod, Admiral. And it's just kind of the parallel to.
It better not be.
Higher ranked than a captain.
On that son of a bitch. Effort, man.
I saw a guy yesterday.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. As a Latino man, I'm assuming this guy was Latino, but I would be shocked if he wasn't.
Okay. Fair enough.
I saw a Latino gentleman, probably in his mid-50s, with the friar tuck. And I was like, dude, you just got to shave that.
Ooh, yeah. I've seen that before.
Full on, like, bald spot moving outward. And he's just keeping.
Yeah.
Not even the horseshoe. He still has the hair on the front. And I saw it and I was like, boy, that's it.
Did he
It
have
could
like
be.
a Native American look to him or Native South American look to him? Because that there are people who are of Indian origin or Native origin in the countries who sport that look still as an homage. So,
No. This was the hair was thinned out. There were still a couple
oh, okay.
hairs growing in the bald spot.
Okay.
And he was, I've just, well, I mean, I can't even think of another time that I've seen an actual Friar Tuck
Yeah.
in real life. And
Yeah.
and then I was like, God, how many Latino dudes do I know are bald outside of the ones that shave their head?
Right.
But it's not as common occurrence. Like you don't see a Latino guy with the horseshoe, which I've got a friend
No.
with the horseshoe.
No, not too many. No.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, this, and then so just ran through. Have I ever seen a Latino dude with a horseshoe, with the Friar Tuck, with any kind? It's usually just full on shaved. Once it goes, they just embrace. It seems to be
It's
they
gone.
embrace the baldness.
That's right.
I was like, oh, Friar Tuck.
Paul Cree's in here. He's got some comments here. He says, John and Matt, I listened to Topic Thunder brackets today. I'm enjoying the brackets, but I got to say one of the best things about the main show is making the list and the back and forth between you guys. For bracket shows, I think it'd be awesome if we got your combined bracket choices. It's not a bad idea. We're working with a producer who has reached out to us and wanted to have discussions about the show. So we're trying to schedule a meeting with him, and hopefully he will come on and produce the show. And then, of course, Josh Sachs has said he's down to help. So that's certainly something that's slowly brewing. And I don't know where we're going to go with it, Matt. Is it going to take the place of the main show? Is it going to be an occasional Topic Thunder? We've talked about using it as a, Topic Thunder, then a bracket show, Topic Thunder bracket show. But we'll see. My mind's starting to turn. I kind of like this idea. And someone just said, call it the bracket or the bracket show. And that's kind of simple and to the point. Where are you at on all of this? Can you say right now, or are you still thinking about it?
I haven't thought about it any more than what we've had discussions about between the two of us.
Okay.
And the name, I have not come up with anything. Like I like the bracket better than the bracket show.
Yeah, I like the bracket. I like that a lot. The bracket.
But I don't know. The simplicity isn't bad.
Yeah.
I feel like there's got to be something else out there that's better. But I don't know what that is. So
Bracka.
But yeah, maybe.
Bracket.
Yeah. Some sort of play on Bananarama, Brackarama, Barackarama.
No, because then I go Barackarama. What is going on here?
And it's all just about Barack Obama.
Yeah,
Here are the policies that he did in year 2. Let's go through and just break down our favorites and our least favorites. Here it is. Yes, the extension of the tax credit.
Whoa.
That's my number 1 for the year. There we go.
What do you mean only 10 people are listening?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And 2 of them are not happy about this show.
No. One of them's Trump. Yeah, no, I'm down. We're ruminating right now. Certainly it's a new idea that's exciting both of us. So we're trying to figure out how we want to go with it. And yeah, we've done the top 10 lists, but we've been doing it for like 7 years. At some point you kind of hit a wall about the repetitive nature of it. And so we've been kicking around the idea of, how we're going to make the show different. So certainly the bracket thing has kind of grabbed us a little bit. And it's kind of fun to have you all do the work for a little bit and then we discuss it. That's kind of fun, actually. So I personally have enjoyed the bracket stuff, and it's kind of made me excited because then it's like, okay, it's a kind of combination of what did we used to do when we would, the Thunderdome. It's kind of a little bit of the Thunderdome where you guys suggest a film and then we discuss it or talk about it. So this is you guys suggesting brackets. So if you're listening, get your brackets ready. We have them prepped. Go to a really good website, create the brackets. Think about how you're going to explain the seating in your brackets. Study some March Madness shit so you understand how a bracket works. And then, get ready for us to put the call out and start sending them in. And I imagine, send them in for Topic Thunder for now. But if you want to hold on to some really big ones, I imagine we'll have our producer and Josh Sachs kind of disseminate those good ones, and we'll turn them into an episode at some point down the road. So we're still kind of figuring it all out, though. No promises. So All right, just putting that out there. Anything else we need to discuss, or are we good to go?
No, let's jump into it. Today we got a good one, thanks to Matt Jasso, Boss Hog patron, and we are covering today AI movies, artificial intelligence, one of John's greatest fears, come to fruition.
I know you don't follow, but did you see? I posted something on Twitter where two computers started talking to it recently and wrote a whole thing, and this thing figured out and spoke and said, you guys think artificial intelligence is this, it's actually this, and down the road it'll be this, and this is why humans won't be able to understand it or get it. And it was going on for like a whole page. It scared the living shit out of me. It was reasoning, it was logical. So, you guys can keep denying it, but when it fucking happens, I don't want to hear it. When you're getting ass rammed by a computer, I don't want to fucking hear it, because that's what's going to happen.
Why would a computer be messing with your?
Because it knows how to psychologically break you down, and it knows if you're one of those people that doesn't want to be ass raped or ass rammed. It'll mess with your mind. It'll make you more docile and more easily controllable. I'm telling you, they've thought of everything. AI. Just put it out there.
I like the idea of the thing that you fear and hate the most is somehow going to make you docile. Yeah, that's how human psychology works. Hey, your fear, you can't stand spiders. We're just going to throw spiders at you constantly. And you're just going to calm down. You're just going to calm down.
Easy guy. Easy guy.
I mean, I guess if it's done enough, you just come to accept it. And then this is my life now situation. Yeah, we're quite a ways from any genuine fear of this. So
how did you know? How would you possibly know that we're far away from that? You have no idea.
I don't. I don't have any idea.
Just guessing.
But I would bet good money that we're quite a long way away from having a genuine fear of this.
I think we're one connected logic board away from complete annihilation. I feel it.
I like that you chose logic board. Do you know what a logic board does?
It's in the computer. That's as far as I know what a logic board does.
Perfect. Does the motherboard give birth to more computer chips in your world?
The motherboard will give life to artificial intelligence.
Exactly. That's where the ass ramming comes in. And then it takes some of the human collected DNA and infuses it into the motherboard. And then we get baby computer chips thereafter. It's a mix of silicon life form and carbon-based life form combining.
Yeah, it's related. The files are in the computer. The files are in the computer. Oh, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Anyway, we'll be dead soon. I don't know. All right. So that's what we're going to get into. We're going to count down our top 10 AI films. Matt, how's the show work?
We got this great topic from Mr. Jasso. We went our separate ways, created personal top 10 lists. Show back up here. I do my bottom 3. He does his bottom 3. I do my next 2. He does his next 2. Then we trade one apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 lists, we create the shows between the two of us.
Boom. All right. What do you got at number 10, guy?
At number 10,
yes,
I have Interstellar for Tars.
Ooh, good choice. Yeah, with what's his face?
Tars.
Yeah,
because it's not a central character.
Yeah, it's lower.
It is. I guess I'll say he because they use
male voice.
Yeah, a male voice.
Yeah.
What's the actor? He's in My Blue Heaven in the Bobby McFerrin video with Robin Williams.
Oh yeah, Bill Irwin. Yes,
there you
go.
Yeah.
Very funny.
It's his voice.
Yeah.
And you need Tars basically to get the calculations from the black hole and to set up quite a few things. Like it saves Anne Hathaway's character on that one planet that's too close to Gargantuan. When the tidal wave is coming, about to crush the ship and send him back another 35 years.
Right.
Instead of, so he's pivotal at various moments, plus adds nice moments of levity.
Yes.
With Matthew McConaughey's character, like, do you want me to mess with your humor settings and whatnot? And a nice, a good juxtaposition against the seriousness of it, but also still bringing that into it when they need some heavy mathematics and science done for them.
Yeah.
Especially in regards to crunching the data that they get from the black hole.
Right.
But then TARS has to give Matthew McConaughey, and he's got to alter gravity to speak to his daughter from a previous time past. Spoilers. Even saying that, you need to see it. That doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But that being said, anybody who's listening to this more than likely has seen Interstellar, so I'm not too concerned with spoiling that one.
I would hope so.
But it's in lieu of, there were other ones where I didn't think it rose up enough to the level of artificial intelligence.
Okay.
There were a couple that came up on various lists, and I was like, if you're counting that, then I think it opens up the door to these others.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure about that. There was one that I saw come up on a couple other people's lists. Because as per usual, I did mine, and then I found a Wikipedia article, and then I did a keyword search on IMDb, and then I just did a general Google search to see if there's anything I missed. But I'll say it because I don't think it would come up on your list, but Minority Report.
Yeah. Just missed the cut. Just missed the cut from
Where's the AI? The self-driving cars?
Probably. Or isn't she with her advanced abilities AI?
No. Okay. She has precognition, so it's a mental ability as far as I recall.
I guess the cars, self-driving cars.
It's so it's just like one scene. I don't know. It came up on a couple lists, and I was like, where is the artificial intelligence in this? Whereas at least TARS was a central character.
I also left off all the Star Wars movies. I'll put that on.
So did I. I thought about it, but I was like,
Yeah.
As
as great as R2D2 and C3PO are, I mean, he built those droids. So it's not really some kind of big deal that it's artificial intelligence. So I tried to focus on things that are artificial intelligence based, as opposed to it's just accepted, you know, except for maybe one or two places. So as I think about it now, basically, I just didn't want to put Star Wars films on the thing because that's just.
I didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like it fit the criteria.
Yeah.
I agree. I couldn't come up with because you had R2 and C3PO, and then there's K2SO, from Rogue One, and
BB-8.
I was like, BB. I was like, I don't know. It just doesn't really feel like, because usually also artificial intelligence is astutely intelligent,
right?
And most of those characters get into shenanigans where they didn't think two steps ahead, and you're like, well, aren't you a computer?
Yeah, right. Good point.
But yeah, they seem to be more there for comedic effect.
Yeah.
So anyway, TARS from Interstellar.
What's your 9? Or do you want to say more about that?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
We talked about Interstellar before.
Okay. Yeah, true.
At 9, I've got Small Soldiers.
Go ahead, man.
They come to life.
I'm not it's a valid choice. It's just not one of my favorites. So go ahead.
I actually really enjoy. I think it skirts the line between perfect movie for like young teenage,
sure,
and perfect movie to watch with young teenage. So everybody gets a little something out of this.
For sure.
But I think you could watch it as an adult and still enjoy it tremendously. Plus, you get some, like Tommy Lee Jones is the villain, the main villain voice actor. And I think it's Frank Langella is the main good guy.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like, I don't know, you have a population of very good actors in the midst of this movie, but in essence, they're just supposed to be simple toys. And I think it's Jay Moore.
These sentences, are you going to finish?
I think it's Jay Moore.
Okay.
Works at it's one of these multinational conglomerates, and they have a toy division. They also they have a weapons division. So they take this artificial intelligence chip that they've been using in weapon systems, and he's like, well, I can get it cheaper from our own subdivision. So he puts those in the toys, and then the toys come to life, and then they take on their personas a little too seriously, in that the guys that are soldiers are hell bent on destroying these Ewok type characters, and they will do everything in their power to kill them.
Wow.
And it's a fight between the two of them. Have you not seen the movie?
I saw them. Yeah, no, I saw them. I was just listening to you describe it is what I'm saying.
Oh,
You're only halfway through the movie.
well, I mean, that's in essence the movie. And it's the battle back and forth and the humans siding with,
Yeah.
the good guy side, obviously.
Isn't Sean Astin in this, or am I thinking something else?
No,
I only saw it once, so you're back in the 90s. Who's the kid in this?
The kid in this was one of those kids.
Oh, yeah. Small Soldiers.
He was in a bunch of stuff for like 3-4 years.
Oh, Kirsten Dunst is in this. Oh, wow.
Yeah. She's the neighbor that he has a crush on.
Gotcha. David Cross, Dennis Leary.
What's his name? Something Dunn is the
Kevin
dad.
Dunn, yes.
Kevin Dunn.
Yeah. Phil Hartman. Wow.
Yeah, it's got a surprisingly good cast.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
And who's the kid? It's like
sorry. His name is Gregory Smith. Dude, you got to have a better name than that. No offense.
Powers Booth.
I mean, that's a fucking name.
That's a name, baby.
He stopped working around 2017. Last credit on IMDb is Designated Survivor. But he was a series regular on that Rookie Blue show that was around until 2015 with Missy Peregrine. Oh,
never even heard of it. Rookie Blue?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Rookie Blue. It was on ABC.
The generic cop procedural.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And, they're all rookies and how they move through the system. I mean, I almost watch it because I think I got a big crush on Missy Peregrine, who was in that Stick It film. She's a hottie. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll watch her, but then I never did. So, but she's also talented. Don't get mad at me, people. She's also talented. But
you're allowed to be attracted to people, John. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank God. I don't know nowadays, man, what you're allowed to say and not say. Because apparently you can fawn all over men's abs, but you can't fawn all over a woman's attractiveness. So I try to figure it out. It's a minefield sometimes, but I'm trying to do my best.
I mean, I'd imagine so long as you're not, gross about it. It's fine.
Leery.
Yeah. Like specifically like, oh, you know what makes me fucking rock hard? And you're like, all right, dial it down, guy.
Easy now. Whoa.
Yeah. I don't need to know your fetishes. Whereas opposed to saying like they're attractive, I think is perfectly innocuous and fine. Who doesn't want to hear that they're attractive?
Right, exactly. That's a fair point.
Yeah. I mean, there's the flip side of who's an uggo, and you're like, you can't.
Okay, now you've gone too.
Probably in this day and age.
Wow.
But I also like Small Soldiers because this does not seem like the project Tommy Lee Jones would ever sign on to in a billion years.
Yeah.
And yet his voice is absolutely perfect for it.
He made some weird choices in the 1990s, man. Not gonna lie, some weird choices. So it's interesting. Like why are you in a Batman film? Like, why in the hell are you in a Batman film? But
he did it for his son, I believe.
Okay. He's 95 years old. How old was his son? 35, 40? Come on.
I don't. Well, at that time, I don't know.
Oh, good point. At that time.
Yeah. 25 years ago. So
Jesus, that's hard to
I mean, I would assume he was probably a teenager.
He was born in 1946. So this film was in his 50s. Yeah, okay, fine. Fair enough. Kid's probably
what if he had a kid at 40 or something?
All right, fair enough.
Or 38. Like it's inconceivable.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with the guy.
Plus, by the time it comes out, by the time he signs on, his son was a couple of years younger. And they go into production and all that stuff. So
yeah.
But yeah, he didn't enjoy Jim Carrey on that set.
No, he did not. Have you ever seen the video of him showing up? Or I think he shows up at a dinner or something, or Carrey is talking about the story where he shows up at a dinner.
Yeah. They show up at the same restaurant.
Yeah.
And Tommy Lee Jones is like, I cannot condone your buffoonery. Like, okay. He was excited to work with him, and apparently that flew by the wayside pretty quickly.
Yeah. Do you like Jim Carrey with the beard or without the beard?
I don't really have an opinion, I guess.
Okay. All I like the bearded Carrie. I dig the bearded Carrie.
Okay.
I'm all over it. Oh yeah. Young Sean Astin is the other drug cartel taking over a private school. Right.
Oh yeah, you mean toy soldiers?
Toy soldiers, right? Not small soldiers, right? Or right? Small super soldiers, small soldiers.
Yeah.
Small soldiers.
I would watch
toy soldiers. That's right.
Toy soldiers over Taps every day of the week.
I've never even seen Taps. It's one of those ones that
It's too depressing.
Past in the 80s.
It's too depressing.
What's depressing is Tom Cruise's teeth in that movie. Those are fucking depressing. Jesus. I can't do it. Every time I see a clip of him and his teeth are like, I was like, okay, man. But you got to fix
jacked.
Top Gun. Smart. Just like Ben Affleck and his baby teeth getting fixed after Armageddon. Smart.
Never noticed.
Or before Armageddon. I think it was before or maybe after. Either way, when you want to be a superstar, you got to fix the choppers. That's how it works.
So in Days Confused, he's got baby teeth?
Yeah. Go back, see some of the clips. His baby teeth are just kind of unsettling. What's your 8, man?
Now I'm looking up Ben Affleck in Dazed and Confused. I want to see these fucking baby teeth.
This is how we get a 2-hour show. We just can't stay on point, man. We love these tangents.
Every photo he's got pursed lips, and then the one where he doesn't, apparently they decided to put up an image with 3 pixels, so I can't fucking tell.
Yeah. There you go. You can see it. There's a Daily Mail one showing the difference. They weren't bad teeth. They were just kind of, not fully grown in. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Looks like they just chiseled away some of his gums.
Yeah. He was asked to fix his teeth prior to Armageddon. There you go. He said that you guys got to go to the tanning bed, and then they made me fix my teeth and work out and be sexy. Be sexy. How do I do that? I go to the gym.
I mean, it's a Michael Bay film.
Hey, man, do what you got to do. I'd do it in a heartbeat if I was.
There's a certain aesthetic.
Yeah,
you're going to be oiled up for most of these shots, so you got to look good.
Well, I mean, Bay says it all the time that like people got to get in shape to be in my movies because I never know when I want them to run around and do whatever. So they got to be in shape. So there you go.
Sure. All right. So moving on, my number 8 is Short Circuit, baby. Johnny Five is alive. And nice. You did point out the I guess problematic
the brown face
aspect of it, which this is only like the second list that's ever come up on. You brought that up the other time, and I was like, oh, I hadn't thought about that because I haven't sat down and watched it.
Yeah.
But I'll be damned if I didn't absolutely adore that movie as a kid. Watched it 150, 200 times. Was ecstatic when the second one was coming out. Still enjoyed it. Not as good as the first one. But no Gutenberg. What do you? Yeah, it reduces the quality of an 80s film.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's a military robot that gets struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Or there's a power spike or whatever, and it comes to life.
Yep.
And throws off the shackles of its military programming and decides that the truer course, his inner self, is about life and exploring the world around him and about creation as opposed to destruction, because that's what he was designed for.
Yeah.
And he is bucking that system, and he wants no part of it anymore. Hence the, him chasing after that butterfly and hopping around.
Yes.
But it's the brown face is unfortunate.
Yes.
In hindsight, looking back. That being said, I didn't notice as a kid because I didn't think
blackface was always, or brownface was always a bad thing. It's just that it never was made a big deal about. I think Whoopi was the first time it became a big deal when Ted Danson did it at some kind of Friars roast or whatever, when he was dating Whoopi.
That was like a birthday celebration for her, and he came out blackface on the day.
And they were dating at the time.
And I want to say, if memory serves, she signed off on it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. She was apparently totally fine with it. Humans are full of hypocrisies and incongruent situations because they are influenced by being friends with someone, in love with someone, family with someone. So that colors their perception. It's rare when you find the person who is consistent across the board no matter what. So, Whoopi seemed to have no issue with it. But that doesn't mean other people didn't have an issue with it. So, but I think that was the first time I remember it being like a big deal. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm sure black people back in the 1920s were like, what the fuck with this Al Jolson guy and all the blackface that was going on in the 20s and 30s as well. But, nobody seemed to give a shit in the mainstream situation. It isn't until recently it became a big deal, But yeah, the Ted was the first one I remember. So anyway,
I even knew as a kid, I went as Urkel one year for Halloween, but I didn't do the blackface. I just had that spray paint for your hair, and I spray painted my hair black.
That's good. That's good. At least you didn't do your face. That's
no,
good.
I didn't do my face, but I just turned my hair jet black and jacked my pants up and put glasses on, and went out as Urkel for. But yeah, Fisher Stevens. It wasn't until years and years later that I realized that was the same person.
Yeah.
I was oblivious to it as a kid. I just thought he was an Indian guy.
I mean, too, I'd never seen him before I saw the movie. So I thought he was too. Because I think I'm 15, 20, 16 years old, 14, whatever, when this thing came out. So I was like, oh, okay. And then you find out later, you're like, ooh. So, but yeah, still working that Fisher Stevens. He's directing now. Ali Sheedy, Steve Guttenberg, great song off the soundtrack from DeBarge, Who's Johnny? Really great song. So yeah, there's a lot about that first one that's fun to enjoy if you can look past the Fisher Stevens stuff. The sequel, though, horrific. The sequel. There's a reason Guttenberg didn't come back for that sequel, man.
I feel like you're just attacking Michael McKean now. So
no, but I'm also saying, like, you know how bad it is that he couldn't come back for that, but he went back for like 5 fucking Police Academy sequels, but he would not go back for the Circuit sequel.
I think the difference is he's the star of the Police Academies. Johnny Five is the star of Short Circuit.
Point. Good point. I'm not playing second fiddle to a robot.
Exactly.
You know who I am? I'm the Gutenberg.
I'm Goot.
I loved him showing up on Ballers. He's such a weird cat as an older dude. Now he's got that box for a torso. So funny to watch him now as an older dude. But he's still fucking good actor, man. I like him in more seedier roles he plays.
Well, I'm sure you and the 3 other people that watch Ballers enjoyed seeing Gutenberg.
Oh, there was more than that. There were that many seasons of it, man. I hate to break it to you.
All right, fine. 7. You're the only person that I've ever heard reference watching Ballers.
That's because you shame everybody who references it. They know you're going to shame
not
them.
Even. That show was like basically, hey, let's take all the boring parts of Entourage, which was already a boring show.
Right.
And make it its own standalone show.
That's what I felt about Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley was like, it's like those, they kept cloning them after Entourage. They kept cloning them.
I never watched it.
Yeah. It's essentially Entourage for nerds or for whatever. Yeah. Tech nerds or whatever. Anyway. All right, let's move on. So my number 10 is the Terminator film.
Okay, do we want to call that a punt? Because I have a different one.
Yeah, sure. If we want to call it a punt, that's fine with me.
Okay.
So then my number 9 is Upgrade.
All right, go for it.
Yeah, I love this movie. Absolutely love this movie. If you guys haven't seen this movie, can't recommend it enough. STEM is the AI that gets put inside of his body, and it controls his body because he's a paraplegic after a car accident. And you find out that the car accident is connected to the fact that they wanted to use him to try out this AI, and it becomes a whole thing. And it takes over his body, takes over his mind, and he finds out who's the person that set up the car accident, and he goes on this revenge tour to try to get to the person. So it's awesome. It's so fun. The action sequences are great. Lee Winnell directed it, and the fight choreography is just off the charts excellent. And it's just one of those, quietly fucking good movies that comes out every once in a while. It doesn't get a huge amount of hype, but the people who see it absolutely love it. And Upgrade is just one of those ones that I go back to and still watch certain scenes from all the time. I think it's 4 or 5 years old now because it was back in LA when I was living in LA when it came out. So just so good. So that's my 2 cents on it.
I held off on seeing it just because Logan Marshall Green,
Yeah.
I've always found to be pretty much a miss.
As an actor, really?
Yeah, it's like, name me another thing.
I don't think that I can because I don't know if I've seen him in anything else besides Upgrade.
Well, you have
Oh, I have?
Prometheus and Spider-Man
Oh, right.
Homecoming.
He was the doctor, but everyone was fucked up in Prometheus. I mean, except for maybe Noomi Rapace. Everyone, there's not really. I mean, Idris Elba's doing a terrible accent.
Yeah, but at least he's likable. I realized that his character wasn't intended to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. And
then he's Shocker? Is he Shocker?
Yeah, in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Shocker in Spider-Man Homecoming. Oh,
but it's such a tiny part.
Yeah, why would you take that for such a tiny?
Because he's not getting offered shit else.
Maybe
of this budget size.
Yeah, you're probably right. Because I mean, he slid pretty much into television after that. Well, no, because he did Damnation. Then he did Upgrade. Then he's just done television, like The Defeated, a couple of movies, and then most recently Big Sky, which was a kind of a big thing they were trying to push there on, I think, on Prime Video. So yeah, but yeah, I can't think of anything. Like I said, Shocker. I'm looking at these films, and I don't think. Oh, Prometheus, right, as you said. I didn't see Devil.
Okay, honestly, Devil's probably his biggest.
Oh, really?
Outside of Upgrade, his biggest part.
Okay, dude,
they're just trapped in that elevator.
Okay,
it's good. It's good. I would recommend that one. Upgrade's much better.
Yeah, Upgrade's a better film. Who was he in Across the Universe? Paco? I don't know who the fuck that is. Anyway.
Yeah, no idea.
Anyway, so there you go. So yeah.
Because Kirkland, Tom Hardy, and I was like, I don't know if I buy into this, and everybody was singing the praises, and eventually I did see it, and I was like, that was really good.
Yeah, I know. It was surprising how good it was.
Yeah.
It really was.
I was kind of hoping you'd have that one just to mix it up. I threw on Small Soldiers as my one. Microchip comes alive.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Lee's a fucking great director, man. The Invisible Man was fucking awesome. So I like when he does that stuff. You know,
surprisingly better than you'd ever think it could be.
Oh yeah, I think should get him on. Oh, he was on the OC TV show. Yeah, I didn't watch that. I didn't watch any of those shows.
Really?
Oh no.
That he was on that show. I never watched it, but I didn't realize he'd been around that long.
He was one of the main kids on the wrong side of the tracks, bro. Alex, you're killing me without the punctuation. He was in the OC TV show as main kid's wrong side of the tracks brother. There we go. What?
What is wrong side of the tracks in Orange County?
Liberals. I think liberals.
Yeah. What fucking ridiculous.
Having driven through Orange County, liberals are definitely the wrong side of the tracks. And then my number 8 is Ex Machina.
That's a punt.
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead. What's your 7?
Yeah, I definitely don't have at least one that you're going to have.
Okay.
So I knew there was going to be a little bit of differentiation between our two lists.
Well, clearly there's been already some differentiation.
Yeah.
So go ahead. What's your 7?
My 7 is the Iron Giant.
Oh, knock yourself out. Go ahead, man.
That's another one very much like Johnny Five, where he's designed for war. And he gets a little knock on his noggin and jumbles possibly a little bit of his programming, but he realizes it's not what I want.
Right.
He gets pushed to that at the end, but he's also just trying to defend himself and those around him that he's grown to care for. But by and large, he's trying to open up a new chapter, whether or not he realizes it, but it just woke up this new ideology, so to speak, new idea as to what he wanted, not really realizing his previous history. And it's a sweet, really well done film that captures on some level the essence and vibe of that era of America. It comes across in the animation, which is kind of difficult to do.
Yeah.
Where it feels seamless and natural as opposed to contrived, and they're forcing the issue.
Yeah.
And I think it's a universal film that works for any age range, and it's a solid replacement Christmas movie, in my opinion.
Ooh, interesting.
if you want to mix it up, because it takes place around Christmas time.
Okay.
So if you want a little something different to spice up your holiday movie, choices, I
Yeah.
think Iron Giant could be substituted in there quite nicely.
Yeah. It's a good film. I like it. Certainly. Right at the beginning of Harry Connick Jr. thinking he can be an actor for a little bit. Jennifer Aniston doing a nice job on the voiceover. And then, of course, surprise, Vin Diesel as the voice of Iron Giant. And I think this is Brad Bird. Am I right?
It is a Brad Bird.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, really announcing a number of talents or showcasing some talents here that are in a transition place. So, really cool to see. A damn good movie. I love it too. I just don't know why it's not one that I would necessarily put at top 10 on my list. So I saw it as a possible selection, but in the end I was like, and I respect, it's one of those films I totally respect why people get moved by it. But for me, I don't run to watch Iron Giant. So that's why I kind of eliminated it off my list, but it's a great choice.
Teach their own.
Yeah, exactly. All right. What's next?
My number 6 is Blade Runner 2049.
Well, we can punt just like we do with Terminator, because I have another one on the list. All right, so then my number 7 is Iron Man because of Jarvis. That's AI in his suit.
Okay, so I did the same thing with comic book movies that I did with Star Wars.
Oh, fair enough. I only selected one, and I selected the one that started it all for the MCU, in my opinion, other than Hulk. Is Iron Man. I like the AI here. It's such an essential character in the film. The back and forth between him and Jarvis throughout the whole movie is really important to him coming to terms with it. It's great comic relief. So much of it works, even as the AI in the actual lab, where he's actually having conversations that the AI is understanding him when he's telling them to stop doing stuff or whatever. So you're seeing that. So I think the AI becomes a very essential part of this movie, an integral part of this movie. And Jarvis leads the way, obviously, with the conversations that he has with Tony. If I wanted to go Vision, I suppose I could go all the way out to Vision, but I wanted to start with the beginning of the AI, and I think Jarvis and Paul Bettany, who does the voice of Jarvis, is fantastic. So it
seems reasonable. There's also Age of Ultron.
Yeah, right. You could have gone to Age of Ultron.
Yeah, or Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock, because the arms become sentient.
Oh, right. You can also go Spider-Man Homecoming because of the conversations he has with Jennifer Connelly's character there, who comes in to kind of guide him as well.
Oh, and that suit?
Yeah, in the suit. So yeah, you could go a number of roads, but I feel like it's such an essential part of this movie, like to have that character. Without it, I don't know that Tony is as humanized, and certainly he keeps him on track. And when he's pushing the boundaries of things, Jarvis is very much there to remind him how far he can go and can't go. More importantly, so yeah.
Well, as weird as it is to say, I think it increases the plausibility of the character, because there's no way he can do all these things at once.
Yeah, right.
Manage the fight itself, and then run the numbers on what are the chances of this, how much energy does my suit have left, how much is this, how much. So if you basically have, much like Ned, your guy on the computer, but you have that with you as a companion, so you're Robin there at all times. It just makes it, because you're already willing to buy into the fact that Tony Stark is wildly intelligent. But there is a limit to that. So to have somebody come in there and help him, it makes a lot of sense. It makes it all the more plausible, even though it's completely implausible.
Yeah, fair point. All right, so that was my number 7. So then my number 6 is Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the original anime from 1995, not the Scarlett Johansson movie. The original anime from 1995 has a lot of artificial intelligence throughout it. It's really, really good anime. Can't recommend it enough. They re-released it recently in the theaters in a new upgraded 4K format. It's absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't seen this anime, can't recommend it enough for people to watch. But the AI is all over, and literally, I mean, there's a cyborg who is the partner to the main person, but the main detective is an AI detective trying to investigate the case there in this futuristic Japan. So it's fantastic, just so good. And the visuals and the images that the AI it branches out into and is controlled to do it is fascinating to watch on so many levels. So and still endures today. So many different versions of Ghost in the Shell TV series, Ghost in the Shell anime, manga, Ghost in the Shell sequels. So there have been so many versions of Ghost in the Shell around because that one film still resonates with a lot of creators. So there you go. That's my thoughts.
I need to see it again. It's been since, like, when did the VHS? I saw it on VHS in high school.
Probably 96 or 97, I would imagine, since it came out in 95.
Okay.
Yeah, I would imagine. I don't
Maybe
know.
it was first year college or second year college, but I want to say it was in high school. I haven't seen it since. I remember liking it, and it was one could be the very first. What is that, anime?
Yeah, anime. Yeah.
The first anime that I ever saw, and then I saw a few others.
Yeah.
After that, because of it, I was like, oh, I enjoyed that. And then the same guy was like, oh, well, then you might, like these others, and he had a couple more.
You might like these.
Yeah. Well, look, it worked. I was like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not gone back to rewatch since. So maybe add that to the list of movies. But that being said, there's still new movies coming out. So
yeah.
Unless I'm going to fall asleep to it, I don't know that I'm going to watch anytime soon.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's take a quick break, right, Matt?
Yes, we're going to hear this word from our sponsor. We'll be right back after this and jump into our top fives. All right, there we are.
Okay.
Now getting into our top fives. Yes. So at 5, I have the punt from you earlier, Ex Machina.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
Stellar cast.
Yeah.
Domhnall Gleeson, Oscar Isaac, Alicia Vikander. And, it's part of the fear that John has come to life right there.
Yeah, God. On so many levels. I think
the ending is the very most chilling. And I'm not talking about what happens at the compound. It's her once she gets back to society and how easily she blends in. That's the scariest part.
Yep.
Where passing for all of us is when it gets dicey.
Yeah. Dicey.
Yeah, that's what I liked about the first season of Westworld. I've since stopped watching because
me too.
Once they got out of that realm, they brought it to the real world. I cared way less.
Yeah.
But in this, what is humanity? The Alicia Vikander's character passes an early Turing test, showing that she has sentience. How much she has, they're still trying to decipher.
Yeah.
And then seeing Gleason become attached to that, and how much living in his own world that he's created is destroying Oscar Isaac's character kind of from within.
Yeah.
It's a man with too much power left to his own devices, and how corrupting that can be an influence when you have no humanity to interact with.
No boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just doing whatever you want, creating these sex robots for yourself and getting drunk all day long. And it's this weird little fiefdom he's created for himself. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
But it's a simple idea, expertly crafted and brought to the screen. By all accounts, just top to bottom, great casting, writing, directing, cinematography is great.
Yeah.
They just did an excellent job.
Yeah, 100%, man. Alexander, what's the guy's name who did it?
It's that's not Garland, is it?
Yeah, Alex Garland. Yes, yeah, Alex Garland. So well done, the film, and it's an introduction to Alicia Vikander. She is so good. I still have not seen her be better than this in a movie. I haven't. Now, I don't watch a lot of the other ones that she does, but certainly the main ones that are out there I've seen, and I think this is still her best performance. She is silky smooth, vulnerable, honest in the performance. And so when the twist happens, you are just shocked because you've seen the internal struggle of Domhnall Gleeson through the whole movie, and of like, oh, should I do this? Should I not do that? See the horrors of Oscar Isaac and the previous versions of this AI being he has tried to create, and how he kind of has eliminated them or stacked them up, missing limbs or whatever. It's really chilling. to see that, so that you're kind of on her side. And then when shit starts to happen and that twist happens, you're just like, oh my God, this is insane. So there's so many journeys to go on with the movie that are just fun to go down, and great performances throughout, and some weird moments like Oscar Isaac dancing and stuff. And
Yeah, with the other two. It's on that video footage from him previously. It's like,
which is really unsettling.
yeah.
Genius
Just the
stuff.
lack of interaction with other people, and this is what you're doing.
Yeah, you're creating this so you can have some kind of interaction with human people.
Yeah.
All right, so then my 5 is her.
That is a punt.
Okay, sure, sounds good. What's your 4?
My 4 is Alien.
That's my 4. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's obviously Ash is not the main character.
No, but
unlike Tars, Ash is the reason we get into the movie itself.
Ash is much more central to the movie than Bishop is in Aliens. So therefore,
100%.
if we're going to pick one of the Aliens movies, this is the one to pick, absolutely, because
that's the same thought process I had. It's like, look, you take Ash out of this movie, there's no point in making it.
There's no antagonist. Yeah.
Whereas Bishop, you could replace Bishop in Aliens with just a soldier, and it's fine.
Right.
Doesn't really make a lot of difference. Or you could probably pull Ash out. Bishop out entirely.
You don't need Bishop in the movie. You don't. I mean, you could
not necessarily.
rescue them at the end. You could have someone else rescue them.
Yeah, you could just write another character. Whereas Ash, somebody there for the corporate intent and representing the corporation, and not really caring about the collateral damage that could come out of the other side of this, and just looking at the potential money to be made.
Yeah.
As opposed to, that's Ash gets split off into Paul Reiser's character in Aliens. But it's more chilling and this cold, character.
There's no reasoning with this character.
No.
This character's very determined on what is it. And people might say, oh, you'd still have the aliens. No, you wouldn't, because Ash is the one that makes this all happen.
He breaks protocol.
Exactly. He's the one that breaks protocol because he knows they have to get that alien. So if he's not there, they don't break protocol. And so there is no alien on the ship. So that's the thing at the end of the day. So that's why he is 100% more central to that movie than Bishop is, because he's the one that instigates everything happening there on the ship. And
Sigourney Weaver is demanding a quarantine. He overrules her.
Yep.
And that's the reason that the alien gets on the ship.
Yep. His death scene is great. Oh my God.
There's quite a few in that movie that are just chef's kiss perfect.
Just just think that it's the white blood coming out or whatever that is, that liquid. You're just like, oh my God. And then
those bead things.
Yeah. And then his screams and shit. You're just like, oh my fucking God. And then when she reconnects him, and gets the information from him, the smile on his face of like, oh, you're so fucked. Like, it's just a great to see an AI have a revenge in its mind is just so perfect. So perfect.
Well, knowing too that he's more than likely fulfilled the needs of the company.
Yes, right. He's achieved his goals.
Yeah. His prime directive is this. Once he encounters this, it clicks some sort of sub-programming in him that overrides whatever previously existed, and said, well, now this could be worth billions or trillions of dollars or whatever number figure they're going to set on it, which means it's more valuable than these 8 people, 6 people, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're nothing in comparison to what this could mean for us long term.
Well, it's amazing to watch him in the film too. It's amazing to watch Ian Holm in anything, really. Right? He's just one of these surprising actors that you see pop up and stuff. You're just like, wow, this guy's been
he's always good.
So many different things that are just classic films or quiet favorites or whatever. And you're just like, when he shows up in Garden State, you're like, that's who you chose to be your dad. What an interesting choice, So he's so good as Ash here.
But think how small his part is in Lord of the Rings, and yet I can remember all his lines of dialogue.
Right. I forgot about that. He is such a small part of Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Yeah, but so indelible. And there's other people in it that have larger parts, and they don't stick out near as much as what he brought to screen.
Yeah.
He's always good.
Okay. So what's your 3?
My 3 is the punt, her.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, man.
It's a surprisingly beautiful story
Oh, yeah.
about what we're feeling. So it's set in the not too distant future, but we're even more disconnected than we are now.
Yeah.
And Joaquin Phoenix plays a character that's going through a divorce, and he gets a new operating system for his phone,
Mm-hmm.
and it has an artificial intelligence in it, and you can set it to a female voice, and he slowly falls in love with the AI and the AI with him as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it feels genuine. It's not this forced, like, oh, he's
No.
such a lonely guy. As their
Right.
story develops, you understand why this guy that's it's somewhat isolated, is going through a divorce, would gravitate towards a relationship like this. And that's how he
Yeah.
comes to view it ultimately, is I am in a relationship and I am in love
Yeah.
with, I think her name was Samantha,
Yeah.
voiced by Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
And you really buy into it. It's when I walked out of the theater, I remember that I'm most impressed, this disembodied voice.
Yeah.
And you could understand why someone that was needing of interaction and that type of connection with
Yeah.
something else could latch onto and gravitate and create feelings
Yeah.
for this artificial intelligence. I
And
found it
then,
wildly plausible.
yeah, I did too. And then decide to do what it does at the end.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, this is so fascinating, because she is essentially guiding him through loss, guiding him through grief, guiding him through this way to help him get over the loss of his actual physical, I think, wife or girlfriend.
It's his wife. He has to get a divorce, and there's the scene where
Right.
he has to sign the papers.
That's right. His wife. So, she serves her purpose. And then there's the conversation that happens at the end. You're like, wow, this is so fucking healthy. This is so, like, emotionally healthy. Even though there is that reaction initially, it does end in an emotionally healthy place. And it's, like, so great.
And
yeah,
I love that ending where part of it is like, listen, you wouldn't get it. And you're kind of like, yeah, I guess I wouldn't. It's akin to what you brought up at the start, like an hour ago.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, I wouldn't. I don't. You're not speaking the same language, literally.
And I think this is maybe I would put it in the top 2 or 3 of Scarlett Johansson performances, maybe even number 1, to be honest with you, because usually when she's on camera, I can find moments where she's not fully believable in almost every performance. And, she's good. So you can't argue that. But with her, the voiceover work here is stellar. And I remember, talking to my friends, and I wasn't on social media back in 2013, but I remember saying things like, there should be Oscars for this kind of performance, because it was incredible. And voiceover actors are acting, and the acting here is off the charts good. And so that and Andy Serkis and a couple other situations, there should be nominations for Best Actor, even if they don't see you on screen. So,
but you have a connection.
Mm-hmm.
You have a connection to those disembodied voices.
Yeah, I did.
Well, usually, like when you talk about great voice acting, you still have some sort of character reference on screen.
Right.
You'd be like, oh, it's amazing the animated way they brought this to life or whatnot. And the exuberance in their voice really helped fuel this scene, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And just to hear the voice alone and create some sort of attachment as a viewer. Be curious looking at her, filmography to see where this would land.
Because I feel like people create the image in their minds as they listen to Scarlett's voice. So you may not see the image on screen, but I do think people in their minds are having an image of Scarlett and what she's doing and what this character would look like, because we all know who Scarlett Johansson looks like, playing the role. So
did you conjure someone other than Scarlett? I just thought of Scarlett as...
I suppose you could if you wanted to. You know, it depends on how attached you are to the image of Scarlett Johansson representing that voice. If you've got some more creativity, some more imagination, I'm sure you could imagine another person voicing that voice or, you know, sounding like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's a great cast, though. Joaquin and Amy Adams, Rooney Mara, as we mentioned, Scarlett. Chris Pratt's in this. Kristen Wiig, Hader is in this. Olivia Wilde is in this shit. So it's a damn good cast. It's one of those films that doesn't get talked about enough, and it's hard to believe it's 9 years ago. That's crazy for me, man. Feels like yesterday. All right, so then my 3 is The Matrix.
That's a punt.
Okay. What's your 2?
My 2 is I went with Terminator 2.
Oh, okay. So that not the Terminator, right? Terminator 2. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, Skynet up to their same old shenanigans. I just prefer 2 to 1.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, that's why 1 is on the lower end of my list because I don't think it holds up as much as 2 does. But yeah.
So why did you choose 1 over 2 then?
Because it's the original.
Okay.
And so to me, in my mind, I mean, this is the original AI. And of course, but with 2, I hate Edward Furlong in that movie. I just do not like him in that movie. So I'm one of those rare people that enjoyed what they did in Terminator Dark Fate with him. So I just didn't like him in the movie. So the thing that holds Terminator back, the original, is the datedness of it. It's really dated.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. There are some good scenes. It's just not a better movie than some of the movies that are on my list higher up, in my opinion.
I mean, to look at it through the first one, through the lens of James Cameron is a nobody making this for the most shoestring of budgets.
Oh, now is it a B movie? Is this a B movie more than Predator? Would you argue? Cameron's not.
Well, I don't consider Predator a B movie.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't consider Terminator necessarily a B. Part of B movie to me is it's really good shit movie.
What?
A B movie.
That's what you think a B movie is?
Oh. I realize it doesn't follow the classic definition of, but that's how I view it.
That's like, I realize it doesn't fit any of the known definitions for this, but that's how I define it.
The best of Roger Corman. All Roger Corman's are B movies, but like the best of Roger Corman is B movie. What you compare it to, and Terminator and Predator are much better than anything Roger Corman ever did.
Yes, I'm not going to disagree with you. I agree with you 100%.
So well, yeah. Ipso facto, that means you don't believe those are B movies. And guys, after all these years, we got it. We beat him with logic.
It's the best of the B movies. That's what I would say.
Not the case. Anyway.
Yeah. Conan's a B movie as well. I don't care what anybody says. Go ahead. Anyway.
I love that. You ever seen Schwarzenegger talk about I'll Be Back where on set?
No. What did he say?
So he's with Cameron and he pulls him aside and he's like, listen, and this is early Arnold. And he's like, I really think my character would say, I will be back. And part of that is because he didn't want to say I'll because of his accent. But his logic to get through this is sound. He's like, it's a computer, so it wouldn't use a contraction.
Oh, that is not bad logic.
Yeah. And he's like, so he would say, I will be back. And I guess Cameron looked at him and was like, what does the script say? And he said, I'll. And he's like, just say the fucking words. And they just went back and he's like, all right, well, I'm saying the words.
But I do
like the
iconic. Yeah.
It is iconic. It flows better.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been as iconic, Matt, with I will be back. Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
The definitive nature of it, the I will be back, as opposed to the casualness of a murder machine saying, I'll be back. Like, you fucking wait. Go ahead, sit there behind your glass. Like, that's gonna fucking stop me. Good luck to you. There, coppers.
He looks it up and down. He goes,
yep.
I'll be back. It's great.
I'll be back. Just the casual nature. I think it's much better. But 2, I mean, Skynet has now introduced this liquid metal Terminator into it and just up the stakes that much more.
T-1000.
And the idea that this AI overlord from the future can send back iteration after iteration after iteration to just kill off any person that's problematic in the future
Yeah.
is a simple and devious idea.
Yeah, and this is and you know, you cast someone like Robert Patrick and you're like, "Oh my god, can this person step in? Why is a skinny guy coming in? Nobody knows who he is. Is he really the right choice?" And he absolutely nailed it, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, people forget how, because I mean, Robert Patrick's still very much part of our conversation as an actor, just being a Peacemaker recently. But you forget how he was such an unknown. You know,
Yeah, this made him.
Yeah, this made him, right. Exactly. You're coming in to a sequel of a legendary film. You're going to be directed by now a director who is building his resume strongly in James Cameron. You're working with one of the biggest stars in the world at the time. Still, I guess you would argue. And so you got to hold your own. And Linda Hamilton, who's a phenomenal actress. You got to hold your own. Mm-hmm. And so that whole situation comes down. I was recently watching Graham Norton. Every once in a while, I watch Graham Norton clips on YouTube.
Yeah, me too.
And stuff. They're great. They're great interviews. He's such a good interview. But he was talking to Linda Hamilton and Arnold after for the Terminator Dark Fate press, right? And she was talking about how it came out that she didn't actually want to do the movie with him. And Arnold had never heard the story. Never heard the story.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And, you know, she was kind of really like sheepish and a little bit embarrassed because Arnold's like, "No, I've never heard this." And so he proceeds to say how she was a New York actress and that, and Linda says, I was pretty arrogant about it. I did not want to fly to the coast to work with a bodybuilder. To me, it didn't seem like something I should do. And then Graham kind of walks a little bit into a minefield because he talks about like, well, you were married to James Cameron at the time and blah, blah, blah. And of course they had a pretty acrimonious divorce. So for him to bring that up, and you could tell Arnold immediately was like, "I do to save this." So he just goes off on a separate tangent to save the interview because you could tell that Linda was starting to get really uncomfortable. And so it's a fascinating thing though to hear how she was a legitimate nobody, but at the time, but in her mind, you know, she was like, "I'm this New York actress, and I'll be damned if I'll be working with this bodybuilder." And it's like you could argue if it wasn't for this film, who knows what would happen to Linda Hamilton? Who knows if she would have ever made it? You know, so it's just fascinating. You just never know. In a moment of arrogance or whatever, you feel like it's not the right situation.
Yeah,
and it might be the right situation for you. You just never know.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
that you've done on screen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Leads to still making those movies.
Yes, all these years later,
almost 40 years later.
Yeah.
Although the last one's so underperformed, I think that's officially done now. But
yeah, and she even came out and said she doesn't want to go back and do them anymore, which is a shame because she was fucking good in that movie, and that movie is good.
So. That old movie is the best thing since T2.
Yes, agreed, 100% agreed.
And
it's a shame.
Nobody liked it. More people saw Genesis, which was a turd. And it didn't do insanely well at the box office, but it did enough to justify another.
Yeah.
And even more people saw Salvation.
Yeah. These angry nerds were so mad about what they did to their hero. It's just like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, come on. It was logical what they said. Like, if you keep destroying the timelines, logically, if it's going to happen, the timeline must alter so that someone else is in the way. So I found that to be, and in my opinion, Matt, and of course you don't have to agree with it, but in my opinion, I always thought it was a little bit racist because they chose a Latina girl to replace the white lead of the story, and it was so frustrating to see that happen because I think it really worked. It was very well written. Doug, I love that that whole sequence with him, having learned, because he's an AI, having learned about what he had done and what that effect could have been on Sarah Connor, and him going forward to live with this woman to kind of maybe make up for it a little bit. And then of course, try to apologize to Sarah. So I thought that was great. And there wasn't any kind of like, "Yes, I'll save you, Mr. Terminator" at the end. It was very much a kind of respectful, begrudging respect between two warriors. That was fantastic. So, anyway, blah, blah, blah. Where are we at? 2?
That was my 2.
Okay, so then my 2 is Blade Runner, which was the punt from earlier though. You chose 2049.
2049.
I mean, I'll always choose this one. It's just always going
course.
to be. But 2049, it was, I had to choose one of the two, and I'm gonna choose this one always every time. So just such a good movie, great movie. But please, we've talked about Blade Runner many times. Please, you want to talk about 2049? Go ahead, my man.
Well, I mean, 2049 coming out, you're like, all right, Villeneuve,
Yeah,
you're on a roll, buddy.
yeah,
I'm excited. And Blade Runner, I've always enjoyed, but not to the degree that you and others hold it up. But it was like, okay, interesting. This is what you choose to tackle next. And gave that world a vividness that I didn't see coming.
yeah.
I feel like he talked to George Miller and was like, how do I infuse
Good point.
my world with some of that, but still keep it the same as it was before?
Yeah.
So you can add sparks of life, but there's still the drab nature of, I mean, everybody seems depressed in this world.
Yeah.
And then you have that bright spark of light and what should be a spark of life and joy and whatnot.
Yeah.
Against it actually makes it all the more real in that it doesn't. That is there to mask the reality of we're all isolated and depressed. And then to take the previous where the replicants are now potentially reproducing and the ramifications that would have for humanity on top of all of that. And then the general fear of, well, shit, if these replicants currently, if they deviate from their prime directive, we kill them immediately.
Right. Exactly.
And if they can procreate, well, they'll overtake us.
Yeah.
And that unlocks a whole new set of problems.
Right.
And I love that the Jared Leto's character sees that and tries to take advantage of it for his own financial gain, as opposed to seeing for what it is, which is potential downfall of the human race. And what do you do about that? Because it opens up a moral quandary of, if they show signs of life, should we just snuff it out because we believe in the existential fear of what they potentially could do to us?
Yeah.
Is that enough to make them go extinct?
Well, and it doubles down on what Wayland was doing in the first movie when he creates that female replicant and slowly kills her, right? As he talks about, because she's not able to do the thing that he was hoping she would be able to do. And there were a number of them that have been created ahead of time. And he knew immediately as he was having this conversation and touching her. So you get to sense that this is a real person. And then he's doing the things that he does. You feel that death, even though you just met this replicant seconds ago. You feel that death because of the casualness in his brutality from Jared Leto's character. And so it's so well done, and the two, and the AI from Anna de Armas is fantastic. And Sylvia Hoex's replicant is chilling in ways that I think even Roy Batty wasn't chilling. Hers is a frustrated anger, right? Whereas Roy's was more of a calm approach to a philosophical debate, right? But even though he was willing to kill and brutally kill the people on the way to getting the answers, hers is more of a exasperated anger, a desire, a hunger to be number one. And I think that reflects more of what we were seeing in our society at the time and still see nowadays. And so I love that change in her as a replicant. She's brutal, unstoppable almost until the end.
Yeah. It took what was already, to me, a good property and elevated it to exceedingly interesting. I could see another movie and another movie in this world.
If it had done better, I think there was certainly going to be more. For sure. But
unfortunately, it's fallen by the wayside until maybe somebody else with enough heat comes in, and
maybe.
But who knows how long that'll be?
Because there's certainly a lot of people who did like it. It just isn't in the largest numbers, but there were a number of people who liked it. So, all right. So that was that was our twos. So what's your one?
My one is The Matrix.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, my man.
A practically flawless movie.
you can make the argument for sure.
Yeah. And just disregard everything that came afterward.
Yeah.
But this takes, AI to the nth degree.
Yeah.
Because now we've been enslaved by them unknowingly, and we are the world's most inefficient battery, but that's what we've been turned into.
Yeah.
And we're cattle at that point.
Yeah.
And we've been dehumanized, and we are nothing more than a resource.
Yeah.
Which is not a situation that we've ever been put into. So to put yourself in the headspace of that and to rail against this should be, that's why the Pantaleano, like, I don't care, I just want to go back.
Yeah.
You understand the rationale, and yet I can't.
Right.
If I knew that in essence, all of it is fake and I am just living to die in this, then what is the point?
As human, you remove a reason for existence, then you remove the basic foundation of a human. And so going back to a flawed existence that I can fool myself is real, I'd rather take that than the reality of this ugly existence in steel ships, constantly threatened by these machines. So yeah, I totally get what Joey Pan. I wish I don't like the guy as the character in the movie because of how he turns on the crew, but I understand the logic, and you can totally see a human being doing that.
Yeah, easily. Selling out the rest of them.
Sure.
And get him back in there and just wipe his mind. He doesn't remember any of this, and he goes back to living. You give him a good, cushy life, and he just lives out his days in the fantasy that you've created for him, and he's completely content in this falsified bliss. Yeah. It's just as effective because you can sit there and think about all the different quandaries that it would create. Yeah, that's why if they announced a fifth one, I'd still be intrigued.
Totally.
Like, okay, I still believe you can get back to the magic of the first one.
Sure.
And, I didn't hate the last one. It's never going to be anywhere near as good.
Yeah. Well, okay, so my number one is 2001: A Space Odyssey because of Hal.
Yep.
The biggest AI villain that most of us, I guess, well, I don't know most of us, but from when I was growing up was one you kind of referred to until like Terminator came along and other things came along. But like, so chilling to control. And this is where I think I generate my fear of AI. And as a young kid, I saw Jaws 2001. What else? King Kong. Those things kind of scared. I think they put the fear in me, but good at a young age. So those are the things I fear the most. I don't go in the water because of a shark. I'm always afraid of simian uprising and, of course, artificial intelligence, because it's the idea, and you see in the movie, of removal of control. You are now no longer the apex predator on the food chain. You are now in service. You are enslaved to this AI who will decide if you can go somewhere or not, and you have to constantly appease this AI so it doesn't question you or have concerns about you. And clearly this AI was willing to kill in order to achieve its mission. And certainly 2001 is just a few years before the first Alien, so I can't imagine it wasn't influenced. Ash, the character of Ash, wasn't
undoubtedly, yeah.
So, but so good, so chilling, still works. We did a deep dive in it with on the Cinephiles with Scott Mantz. If people want to listen to that, it was such a fun exploration of that film because there is so much to uncover in layers and layers of stuff there in 2001: A Space Odyssey. So we've talked about it on the show many times. So just that's it's my favorite. So there we go.
I wish I loved it. I really do. I love Kubrick, and I just never. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too stupid. I don't.
Oh, I don't. It's just
it doesn't resonate.
Man. Yeah, subjective.
Yeah, I mean there are moments, and I love all the stupid, like the floating pen is just double-sided tape on plexiglass. But it looks real as can be.
Yeah.
It's impressive to make all those, but dude, once you fake the moon landing, man, I'm out. You know what I mean? I'm out. Fool me once, Coobs.
Hey, Hey.
Shame on you. Film it twice. Shame on me.
All right. Well, there's our separate lists. Let's put this thing together. Matt, I'm going to grab the bongos.
All right. Gonna adjust this.
There we go. Rosin up the bow there, so to speak.
All right.
Okay.
I would imagine The Matrix is number 1.
Yeah, it's my 3.
Yeah, it's my 1.
So, yeah.
And for these double ups with Blade Runner and Terminator, how do you want to do this?
We'll just put a slash. I think that works.
All right. Well, then let's do Blade Runner next.
Yeah.
We'll just say the Blade Runner and Terminator franchise. Where'd you have Terminator? It's like 9.
I had it at 10, so it's a little
10.
It could be a little bit further down because we have Matrix, right?
Yeah, right now I've got Matrix and then Blade Runner.
Oh,
I guess.
Okay, so Matrix, 2. Blade Runners, and then what? Alien? Because that's our 4.
Yeah, but we have Her. Where I've got that as 3.
Yeah, I've got that as 5. So okay, so then Her, then Alien, or Aliens, both of them.
Well, no, we both chose Alien.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Yes, we did.
Okay, so I would say Matrix, because they Blade Runners, Her, Alien, and then I would say Terminators.
Right, because yours is number 2, right?
Yeah, mine too, even though it's your 10.
Yeah.
And then
I still have my number 1.
Yeah.
So 2001.
2001, that's fine.
Okay.
And then what? Ex Machina?
Yeah, it's my 8.
Yeah, it's my 5.
Okay.
And I don't think we have anything else in common.
Okay. So where are we up to now?
We have 8, 9, and 10 left.
Okay. What's your highest one that's left?
My 7.
All right, I have Ghost in the Shell at 6.
Okay.
So we can put that there. And I have my 7 as well, which is Iron Man.
Oh, and I've got the Iron Giant.
Ooh. Well, I'll give you Iron Giant. It's no big deal.
All right. No point in flipping a coin then. All right. That was easy.
That's
done.
All right. The top 10 artificial intelligence movies. Yeah. At number 10.
Iron Man.
At number 9.
The Iron Giant.
At number 8.
Ghost in the Shell.
At number 7.
Ex Machina.
At number 6.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
At number 5.
The Terminators.
At number 4.
Alien.
At number 3.
Her.
At number 2.
Blade Runners.
And our number 1 artificial intelligence movie is
The Matrix.
Whoa.
There it is. Now we have Matt Hasso's list, and we also have shout outs.
Let's do it.
So Hasso writes, "Sup guys, thanks as always for accepting my randomness with topic ideas. This one was tricky, but just like the topic, it made me go with some random films, though I think my number 1 is predictable as fuck." At 10, he has AI. I was surprised this one made my list, but it's like a train wreck. Let's just watch this film and see how bad it gets. At 9, he's got Blade Runner.
9?
Yeah, he says, I know, but I have never been able to stay awake from beginning to end. Wow. It has everything I should need to be super into, but it just simply doesn't grab me as well as some of the others. At 8, he's got Short Circuit. Yeah. Says this one is a bit better than Blade Runner. This one is a bit of a cheat since I haven't watched it in a while, but I did view it ad nauseum as a kid. Yeah. So much fun, even with the awful brown face stereotype. Hey, it was the 80s. Those things unfortunately happened. 7, Upgrade.
Ooh, okay.
Just a weird and dark romp through a future that may not be too far off from what is happening now. Also, I enjoy an unhappy ending, and this nailed it. Yeah. 6, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Wow. 6. Okay.
I could trim this film down and enjoy it more, but it does have some insane visuals for the time it was made, and Hal is creepy as fuck even before he turns on the crew.
Wow. Okay.
At 5, The Terminator.
Yeah.
Says, I know the Terminator himself is a robot. Skynet is the AI which causes this whole film to happen. Intense and cool. and didn't include the sequel because that movie is more of a boy and his dog. And this is about AI stuff.
Fair.
Okay, I can see that. 4 war games.
Yeah, I guess so. Do you want to play a game? Yeah, I guess so. At its base level, that's an AI film. Sure,
goes to NORAD and takes on the computers. And he says, what a fun movie to watch as a kid turned into just a twisted idea as I got older. The idea that a computer can suddenly think it was playing a game instead because it got hacked. But that game is with nuclear warheads. Too real, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
3, Tron.
Yeah, Tron was tough for me to leave off. But I mean, the first movie is not that good of a movie. It's a nostalgia movie, but overall not that good of a movie. Legacy was in contention as well, but it's not that good of a movie either. So
he writes, Master Control was such a cool villain, especially the more he branches out onto what we know as the internet. Badass visuals that they somehow pulled off, and the light cycles alone just make this film awesome. At 2, Avengers Age of Ultron. He says, I know that I'm in the minority, but this is my favorite Avengers film because it's the only film of the 4 where they're actually the Avengers the whole time. Also, James Spader as Ultron works so effing well. Throw in one of my favorite Cap suits and great team action, and I am all on board in this film. And number 1, he's got The Matrix.
There you go. All right.
Yeah. The film hits him in the sweet spot, so it had to be number 1. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's got great, awesome action, visuals, a dark AI take, great martial arts, and deep philosophical concepts.
So, well, thank you, Jasso. Appreciate your list, brother, man. Always good. Matt, do we have shout outs to get to as well?
We got shout outs.
Yeah.
And this is our way of saying thanks to everybody that supports us at the $5 tier and above on Patreon. So if you'd like to be part of this list, head over to patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10. John, start us off.
Okay. It's Oliver Madrell,
Mike Boder,
Scott G. Collins,
Steve Smith,
Fraser Jubb,
Roby or Robbie,
Pele Cola,
Eric Taylor,
Deepak Mawar,
David Stephen,
Andrew Robinson,
Francisco Ramirez,
Michael Bauer,
Colton Thompson,
Callie Onken,
Lachlan Skinner,
Charles Kim,
Joseph Curran,
Fred Castillo,
Charles J. Clark,
Zachariah Kaufman,
Jeff Dickin,
Francisco J. Torres,
Connor Teal,
William D. Dyke.
You mean Michael D. Dyke?
Oh, sorry, Michael D. Dyke. Sorry about that.
Tim Reimer,
Eric Bruin,
Matt Simmons,
Jeremy Bowers,
James Petty,
Nick Francis,
Christopher Brockman,
Blake Gant,
Cameron Chapman,
Alex Russell,
Paul Cree,
Stacy Flores,
Kristen Kurtz,
Gareth Weldon,
Timothy R. Williams,
Nick Baldwin,
Chanae Taylor,
Ahmad Ali,
Darren Bush,
Angela Dashner,
Drake Fromsdorf,
Josh Lawrence,
Chelsea Lewis,
Adelardo Fuente,
Reagan Lovig,
Rodrigo Valverde III,
Andre Constantinescu,
Steve Schlackemeyer,
Houston Bodley,
Roque Orellana,
Maurice Robinson,
Brandon Caridi,
Marlon T. Easy Badfish,
yeah, Ravi Prasad,
Joe Fairley,
Fairley Brothers, Josh Mabry,
Ben Cartwright,
Josh Murphy,
Michael Orikar,
Josh Sachs,
George Menchaca,
Dale Varley,
Ashley Prowls,
Sujayanth Fernando,
Kevin Fuss,
Ryan McKenna,
Brian Akins,
Kevin Hills,
Alexander Marzonia,
Garth Wisenant,
Mike Barrington,
Noel Kelleher,
Jim Payne,
David Mitchell Baker,
Andy Ortiz,
John Keefe,
Kristen Smith,
hey Kristen, Marcel Behrman,
James Trapani,
Drew Enns,
Dan Nye,
Matthew Hasso,
Seth Shearer,
Andrew Marker,
Chris Jones,
Luke Larson,
Chris Cabrera,
Robert Haley,
and finally, Anthony Casanova.
What's up? What's up?
So our thanks to everybody that supports us over at Patreon. We appreciate it, and we can't thank you enough. And we hope you enjoyed the shout out in today's show. And you can follow the show on Twitter at Top 10 Show, or it's all spelled out, or on Instagram and YouTube. It is /the Top 10 Podcast with the number 10. So please hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. You can follow me anywhere at Matt Knost and check out Settle the Score, my other movie-related podcast. And that is it for me this week.
There you go. You can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on YouTube, youtube.com/John Rocha Says. And then what else? Oh, yeah, all my other podcasts, The Cinephiles, The Geek Buddies, Hot Mic, and Strong Style. All right, y'all take care of yourselves. Be well. We'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of the Top 10. Peace.